Topic for my presentation is Emu Oil and Oriental Medicine. And when you look at the two names, or Emu Oil and Oriental Medicine, to say, what do they have to do with each other? And when I talk to other Oriental medical practitioners about Emu Oil, they ask that same question. What does Emu Oil have to do with Oriental Medicine? How does it fit in? Does it fit in? And what does it do? And what I'll do is I'll start out with a couple of case studies. Just a brief overview of a case study. One patient I had an irregular heartbeat which could not be resolved through the normal Western medical route of drugs. And he was very, very concerned about it. He's always afraid he's going to have a heart attack. He had an arrhythmia, not a life-threatening arrhythmia, but he had an arrhythmia, an aberrant rhythm in his heart, and he was concerned that he's going to have a heart attack. And the doctor told him, don't worry. I told him, don't worry, it's not life-threatening. But it worried him, and he went to the doctor and time again, and they finally said there's nothing we can do. They could do cardioversion, which is an electrical shock, similar to when a person is in cardiac arrest. They shock the heart to restart it. Only in cardioversion, they shock the heart with a synchronized shock so that it doesn't stop the heart, but it's supposed to shock it into a normal rhythm. That's a very risky procedure, and they didn't want to do that, so they said there really is nothing we can do. I told them from the start, he came in for temporal mandibular joint syndrome, the TMJ syndrome. Fixed that for him. I said, part of the reason you got the tight jaws because you're worried about having a heart attack. So you need some Emu oil to straighten out that heartbeat. Well, he didn't believe me and then went through the procedures with his doctor, and a month later came back and said, let me try some Emu oil. And a month later he came back and said, I want more Emu oil. And he said, my heartbeat is normal right now. The doctor said, whatever you did, keep on doing it, so give me some more Emu oil. And it straightened out his irregular heartbeat. Another patient I had was a young man that was injured in an accident at his home, had a broken neck, and he was in the hospital for several months. He came out of the hospital, and the doctor said he would never walk again. He would never, he'd be quadriplegic. That means paralyzed in all four extremities for the rest of his life. Offered him no hope really for any type of recovery, just lie there in bed and be a quadriplegic. And started treating him the day after he got out of the hospital. He was able to move his right thumb about an inch or so each way, and that was it. That's all he could move. He could eat and swallow and speak. Couldn't move his head really, and that was it. The second time I went to see him, he was having breathing difficulties, went in a hospital for a long time. They're sedentary, they're lying on their backs most of the time, and they get a lot of lung congestion. And when I went there, it was normally, I used to be a paramedic, so you recognize some of these situations, and this is normally a situation where somebody would call an ambulance and send the person to the hospital because his breathing was so difficult and so much congestion in his lungs, and he was so much afraid of not being able to breathe. I went over to see him, and there's a technique in Oriental medicine where we bleed the acupuncture point right on the corner of the nail bed, inside corner of the thumbnail bed, and that opens and cools the lungs. So I stuck a needle in there, let each of those bleed, and while he was getting ready to do the treatment, his lungs started to clear up. That takes the heat out of the lungs. I listened to his lungs before and after, and they're very congested, a lot of wheezing, a lot of phlegm, a lot of congestion. You wonder how he could breathe at all. And within 2 minutes, the breathing had cleared up. He had some congestion he had in his throat. I gave him about 8 shots of Emu oil in his mouth. I said, swallow this. And he did. And about 15 minutes later, he coughed up an enormous amount of phlegm, and they had to suction him out and everything, and he was clear. And he's been taking Emu oil ever since. And 3 months after he was out of the hospital, one of his respiratory therapists came to visit him. I want to see how he's doing. She was surprised to see that he could move all 4 extremities, and that he could breathe normally. And she said, you know, we predicted he would be in the hospital within 3 weeks of leaving with pneumonia. He had pneumonia 3 times in the hospital, and she said, he got pneumonia. I said, listen to his lungs, listen to his lungs. She said, his lungs are clear as a bell. He's breathing normally, good air exchange, got good movement, all the extremities. How did you do that? And what she really meant to say was, why couldn't we do that at the hospital? And I said, I know what you're thinking, why couldn't you do that? And we could do it here at the home. I said, it's very simple. You don't do acupuncture and you don't have Emu oil. And he credits the Emu oil for clearing up his lungs, clearing up his breathing. And he's doing very well now. He's at the point where he's able to walk a short distance with some assistance by the physical therapist. So this is a man that the doctor said would never walk again, would only be able to move his thumb, and that was it. Now he's ready to walk. And he gives a lot of credit to Emu Oil for helping his circulation and, first of all, his breathing. He still remembers. He said, I remember the time you came there, you pricked my thumbnails, and you gave me Emu Oil, and I could breathe again. And so when he sees his medical professionals, he always tells them, you got to try some Emu Oil. Those are a couple of case studies. Anyway, what does Emu Oil have to do with Oriental medicine? Oriental medicine has some very important basic concepts. They talk a lot about the blood, and a lot about circulation, a lot about the skin, a lot about the organs, and stagnation of blood and energy. And by energy, they mean electricity. And we find that 70% of the electricity in the body flows through the blood. So you can see the importance of a good circulation and good electrical conductivity. Each day, the heart pumps 3,000 gallons of blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels in the human body. That's every day, 3,000 gallons of blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels. Hard to imagine. The Lord created such a wonderful body that we have, and when we see how it works, we're appalled to see how intricate our body is, and yet how simple, yet how complex it is. But that much blood going through that much blood vasculature is amazing. We can't imagine that. So we see the importance of circulation. Oriental medicine talks about blood and blood stagnation and circulation, blood moving, and organs working properly. In Oriental medicine, we don't treat diseases, we treat the patient. Different concept from what we might be used to. We're used to treating diseases, but in Oriental medicine, we don't treat the disease, we treat the patient. We make the whole body healthy. We start, at least I start, with the blood. I look at a person's fingernails, I look at their tongue, I listen to their pulse, feel their pulse, listen to their lungs. Are they breathing well? Are they circulating well? Are their organs working well? I also check blood sugar. Blood sugar is a very common problem among people. In a study done in 1998, 50% of our population had low blood sugar. 50%. That's 1 out of 2. And much of the other 50%, as we know, is diabetic. So either your blood sugar is going to be low or high, more than likely. You're going to have a problem with blood sugar and balancing that blood sugar. And so as we look at those concepts of blood, blood sugar, pH levels in blood, the alkalinity and acidity of the blood, and the blood should be a little bit on the alkaline side, should be 7.35 to 7.45, a little bit on the alkaline side. The good Lord designed the body that way to fight disease. Your bad things, the bacteria, the cancer cells, the flu viruses, all of those things cannot live in an alkaline environment. That's why the body is supposed to be a little bit on the alkaline side. Most people are acidic. So we look at those concepts there of blood, the quality of the blood and how well the blood moves. We say, how does Emu Oil connect with Oriental medicine? And it fits right in. It's not a Chinese herb, it's not a plant, it's not a substance which is traditionally used in Oriental medicine, so it's kind of foreign to the field of Oriental medicine, but I'm trying to make it not foreign. I'm trying to make people see how it fits in. We look at the concept of the blood. The spleen is responsible for building the blood and circulating the blood. The liver stores the blood and cleans the blood. We know that we have to have good blood, healthy blood, for healthy tissue. People have trouble correlating why am I sick? Well, if your blood is not healthy, you're not going to be healthy. If I have poor circulation, what does that have to do with my physical condition? Circulation really is everything. Digestion is everything. Oriental medicine focuses a lot on digestion. The organs, are they metabolizing the food and water properly? Because the body takes food and transforms it into blood. It builds blood out of the food that you eat. Where does Emu Oil fit in? Emu Oil helps make the blood platelets less sticky so the blood circulates better, doesn't stagnate. It increases oxidation and metabolic rate. It increases oxygenation, where the body can absorb the oxygen better, so you get more oxygen to more areas of the body. It helps conduct the electricity in the blood, therefore correcting those irregular heartbeats. The essential fatty acids in Emu oil transport minerals to the body. The minerals help to balance the pH in the body. The Emu oil is very good for respiratory problems as it lubricates the upper airways and the throat, and a person is able to expel some of the phlegm and the problem substance they have in there. In Oriental medicine, we talk a lot about stagnation, and in Western medicine, we talk about inflammation. And Oriental medicine talks about it a little bit different terms. They talk about stagnation, which leads to inflammation. Inflammation is a very, very common problem. When you have arthritis or a joint problem or pain anywhere, that's stagnation of blood and electricity. It's not moving the way it should. Sort of like if you turn on a garden hose and then you stand on the hose, you reduce the amount of water going through the hose, and then you take your foot off, and then you get a sudden burst of water through the hose. When the body's electricity and blood is compromised in its flow and its movement, then we have stagnation. It slows it down. Pressure builds up. Inflammation builds up. Emu oil helps the blood platelets to be less sticky, helps them move better, helps reduce the inflammation. Emu oil also helps to fortify the blood vessels. So in that 60,000 miles of blood vessels, they need to be elastic, that they expand and contract as they should, that they withstand the shock of sudden blood pressure changes. They need to be elastic in nature, that they can move back and forth and stretch and put up with the rigors of everyday life. They need to be able to not leak. The intestines need to be able to hold their contents and not leak. Emu oil is good for what they call leaky gut syndrome or leaky intestines, which cause allergies, inflammation, autoimmune problems, that type of thing. Emu oil is really very essential, very basic substance, very basic supplement, and I recommend to my patients not to take a lot of vitamins. Some people come in with as many as 20 or 27 different vitamins. They say, I'm taking all these vitamins and I'm still not healthy. Why is that? Because your body can't absorb that many substances at the same time. And your body can't absorb too much of anything because the intestines are leaky. They're not holding the nutrients. The small intestine is not assimilating the digested food into the bloodstream. We might liken the small intestine to a director of a band. And we liken the kidney to the bass drummer in a band. And our initial treatments are focused on getting the kidney and small intestine coordinated. So you have the bass drummer and the director of the band on the same sheet of music playing the same tune, and then that brings the rest of the players, the other organs, into compliance. And Emu oil helps to do that because it helps the blood to work better, helps the blood to be healthier, and you have healthy blood, you have healthy tissue. Acupuncture is electricity. When you think about that, all of our cells are electrically charged. All of our cells fire like little spark plugs. When you move a muscle, there's a lot of firing of low dosage electricity in the body, and without electricity, those muscles could not move. And we remind ourselves again that 70% of the electricity in the body flows through the blood. So healthy blood means healthy tissue. Healthy tissue means healthy organs, healthy tissue, healthy blood, healthy vessels make for a healthy person. No wonder that Emu oil helps lift depression and improves our stability and ability to deal with stress. It's rich in essential fatty acids, and some will argue that, well, you have fish oil, you have different types of oils that have essential fatty acids in them, but not like Emu oil. They might do the job, but not as well and not as thoroughly as Emu oil. I recommend to each patient, you need to try some Emu oil. This is what it does for you. No matter what your problem is, what your health concerns are, Emu oil will help. It's one of very few supplements that has such a wide range of benefits for everybody. Everybody should take it. Nobody should be without it. And once they take Emu oil, a few weeks or a month later, they'll come back and say, you know, I really feel better, and I think it's that Emu oil. Whatever it is, it does the job. We see it in a quadriplegic who's no longer quadriplegic. We see it in a man with an irregular heartbeat, something that really worried him so much, and his TMJ went away when he stopped worrying about his heart. He said, my heart feels good, doctor says it's good, it's beating regularly, I feel great. The only variable he did was take the Emu oil. That's all. He didn't take 27 different vitamins. He didn't take 5 or 6 different drugs. he took one substance, one supplement, and that was Emu Oil. Now he sees the benefit of it. We talk about the skin in Oriental medicine. The skin is the largest organ in the body, so we should spend a lot of time in medicine talking about skin. The skin protects the body, keeps the contents of the body contained, the blood inside and so forth, and the organs in their places. Skin is a very important part of the body, a very important organ. You need to keep the skin in good shape, and we know the value of emu oil in keeping the skin soft and supple, dealing with injuries and burns and inflammation in the skin, and how valuable that is. Emu oil, again, increasing circulation, making the blood do what the blood should do, and helping the skin to be elastic and vibrant and healthy so that it can absorb what it should absorb and keep out what it should keep out. We look at the different organs in the body, and we see what they do: liver storing the blood, cleaning the blood, the spleen building the blood, the spleen controlling digestion and assisting the other organs there, and the liver kind of engineering the operation of the spleen and stomach so that digestion does occur properly, helping out with its enzymes when it needs to. Liver needs to be in good shape. If the liver's not in good shape, then other organs will go astray as well. And so we look at what does the emu oil do for the liver. We think about cholesterol. We know it's good for cholesterol, reduces cholesterol, transports the cholesterol and triglycerides, and helps the blood to build more healthy blood. If the liver is good and clean and works well, then the rest of the body will work well as well. Emu oil helps the liver to clear itself of the things that need to be cleared out. It helps it to produce its enzymes better, the essential fatty acids in the emu oil, very essential to proper functioning of the liver, as well as the spleen and the stomach, and of all the organs. We do a lot of eye work in my clinic. We treat patients with eye problems, macular degeneration, glaucoma, cataracts, and I recommend each one of those patients emu oil. Why is that? We look back at circulation. People have trouble understanding, what does circulation have to do with my vision? Again, it has everything to do with vision. The body's got to be able to digest its food properly, got to be able to circulate blood, and that blood needs to be healthy blood. And if you don't have healthy blood, your organs will not be healthy. And the eyes have many, many miles of blood vessels in them, and those blood vessels also have to be able to contract and expand as they should. They need to be able to be elastic. They need to be able to resist sudden changes in blood pressure and pressure buildup in the eye. They need to clear the waste materials out of the eye. And that's how macular degeneration starts. The body's unable to clear the waste material out of the eye. And it builds up, and pretty soon the back of the eye begins to degenerate. The macula begins to degenerate because of the fact that it can't clear the waste out, can't get good circulation, can't get good food and good blood to the area, so it begins to degenerate. Again, emu oil comes in with its enhancing, circulation enhancing properties, its blood vessel enhancing properties, and its blood enhancing properties, and helps to clear that out. Even had people put emu oil directly in the eye to help clear off the dead cells, to help clear up cataracts, to help the body to make the tissue more porous the way it should be, so that it can absorb and release the substances it needs to absorb and release those it needs to release. So whenever you increase circulation, whenever you increase or enhance the quality of the blood, whenever you enhance the operation of the organ systems, you enhance everyday good health. So again, in Oriental medicine, we talk a lot about blood, stagnation, inflammation, the skin, the organs, the electricity in the body. The Orientals call it chi. They talk about chi, they mean body electricity. And that electricity has to flow smoothly. The essential fatty acids in emu oil increase the flow of the electricity as well as the blood. It's no wonder that the blood pressure goes down with the use of emu oil. The body is able to circulate its blood more freely and more normally. And when we normalize the functioning of the heart, then of course we normalize blood pressure. So there isn't any condition that I've treated so far that has not responded well to the use of emu oil. It's one supplement that I recommend to the patients. I prefer that people don't take a lot of supplements. I don't want you taking 10 or 15 or 20 or 27 different supplements, but a few. Start out with 1 or 2 basic things that's going to help the rest of the body work better, and then we can see what you might need later on. I don't like to load people down with a lot of vitamins, but one thing that they do need to consider is Emu oil. That helps normalize the body's functioning. The body is able to absorb more of the food that you eat, and then if there's any supplementation needing to be done, we do that after a period of time on the Emu oil. It reduces their healthcare cost and increases their quality of life because they're not burdening themselves with a lot of supplements that they can't absorb to begin with. And so, what does Emu oil have to do with Oriental medicine? Does it fit in? It certainly does. The Oriental practitioners have difficulty realizing that yet because it's not a traditional part of Oriental medicine, but hopefully it soon will be. And we need to promote that among our practitioners and let them try it, let them see it, let them try it with their patients and see what it does for them. If there's one supplement that covers the widest range of physical needs, I would say that one would be Emu oil. Again, 3,000 gallons of blood each day go through your vessels, 60,000 miles of blood vessels. If you can imagine that or begin to imagine that, that's a lot of circulation, that's a lot of electricity, that's a lot of stretching and bending and expanding and contracting of blood vessels, and how important it is that those blood vessels be in good shape, and that they're able to contain the blood and move the blood, and that the blood that they're moving and circulating is healthy blood. Healthy blood equals healthy tissue, equals healthy organs, equals healthy skin, equals healthy bodies. It's hard to say enough about Emu oil. I was introduced to it. My sister, who is now deceased, started raising emus. She always wanted to raise ostriches, and then she started raising emus because they're a little bit smaller and a little bit easier to control. And she fell in love with these birds, and she had grown them and raised them for many years, and then when she passed away, I thought it might be the end of an era. I had to find another Emu oil supplier. But she told me, you got to take Emu oil every day, you got to do it. And my sister was usually right. When she talked, she usually knew what she was talking about, so I took her word for it and I took Emu oil, been taking it ever since. Now I'm able to help other people in my practice with Emu oil, and I tell them what my sister told me, you got to have some Emu oil, you just got to have it. There's no getting around it. There's nothing else that can do for you what this will do. And I promote that to each of my patients, encourage them. Not all of them take it. Some of them don't take it, but when they have a breathing crisis and Emu oil helps relieve that, they say, get me some of that Emu oil. I want to try that. If somebody comes in to stop smoking, I do the fingernail bleeding for them, the fingernail points, open and cool the lungs, get the heat out of the lungs. And then the next thing I do is give them about 7 or 8 shots of Emu oil in their mouth and say, swallow that. 10 or 15 minutes later, start coughing. They ask for a Kleenex, and you cough up a huge amount of phlegm, and they say, you know, I can breathe better. I really can breathe better. They know what it's like to breathe normally for once. And the Emu oil has enough viscosity that it gets behind the phlegm and the deposits in their upper airways, loosens them so that they can cough them out. And every smoker that I've treated has said, you know, whatever it was you put in my mouth, that helped me breathe better. And usually if they follow through with a stop smoking program, they'll come back for more Emu oil. They say this stuff really helps. Now I might open to some questions. Anybody have any questions for me? Do I have any publications? I haven't gotten that far yet. I've been busy in my practice. I would like to do I want to publish a newsletter from the practice. Again, if you'd like to get that, when I get it done, just give my card afterwards and maybe grab my tab, put your name and address and phone number down and what you'd like, and I can remember when that time comes. I've been trying to do a newsletter for several months now, and it's just been very busy. Our practice is very, very busy, successful. I would say successful, not, we don't make a lot of money, we don't charge that much, and we're not there for money. Money's not important, people are important, and we're there to help people get healthier once again. And I just looked yesterday, and we have gotten, since the 1st of January of this year, we've had 160 new patients come in the door. and because they're hearing the good things that we're able to do for them and help other people. And so 160 new people came in the door for treatment since January 1st, which to me is good success because we're able to treat a lot of people. Thank you, sir. Have I used Emu Oil in dealing with fibromyalgia? Yes, I do. One of the things I use with fibromyalgia patients is called a fire cup massage. Anybody ever hear of a fire cup massage? I should have brought one. I got one out in the car, I guess. But a fire cup massage is you take a specially designed glass cup, and then you put some oil in the body, wherever you want to use the massage, and you put a little oil in the rim of the cup, and then you take an alcohol swab, you light it on fire, and stick it into the cup and pull it right out of the cup, and that creates a very hot, very fast, very strong suction. Alcohol burns very hot and very fast and very clean. So you just put it up in the cup and pull it out, put that on the back or wherever you're going to do it, and then you move that cup around on the oiled skin. That pulls the toxicity out of there. Fibromyalgia is a buildup of lactic acid in the tissues. It's really all it is. Doctors say we can't do anything about it, you're going to have to live with it. And fibromyalgia people are told they'll never get better. That's not true. I had one lady that she said she felt 90% better with a fire cup massage. The first treatment she had fire cup massage with Emu oil, 90% better. And that lasted quite a while. She felt better for weeks with that. And I used Emu oil, and that helps penetrate, gives lubrication for the fire cup. Fire cup has a suction that draws the lactic acid right out of the body, right to the skin. Very good for asthma too. Use that on the back for asthma, and they'll breathe better. With an asthmatic, after you do this on their back, it usually leaves some bruising, looks like kind of like a floor burn as the toxins come out of the body. And an asthmatic, you'll be able to see an outline of their lungs. You see exactly where their lungs are. It's darker than the rest of the skin. It'll be black and blue where the lungs are. And they'll get up and say, boy, that hurt, but I sure feel better. I can breathe better. And I use Emu oil and then fire cups in that for fibromyalgia and asthma, any type of breathing problem. Ma'am? No, not the gel. The question was when I gave them the Emu oil orally for a breathing problem, did I use a gel cap? No, I just took the pump bottle and 4 or 5 squirts, some 7 or 8 squirts, whatever they'll let me put in. So some people taste it, it tastes horrible, and other people say, oh, it tastes good. It's just a difference in taste, but I say, open your mouth, I'm going to squirt some Emu oil down what, and I squirt it in there with a little pump bottle, and they say, oh. And they later on they start coughing, they say, boy, whatever you put in there, that did the job. That loosened up, and it loosened up the phlegm. Or sore throat, you got a real hot sore throat, squirt a little Emu oil down there, do it several times. Or a dry hacking cough, you squirt some Emu oil down there, and about 10, 15 minutes later start coughing up some phlegm, it loosens up, and out it comes. Better out than in. Not a pretty sight, but it's better when you can breathe better and swallow better. Sir? Emu oil and what? Spinal cord, yes. In fact, this gentleman I was talking about with the broken neck, I saw the x-rays. The surgeon did a beautiful job of the neck was a jagged break, and they said he might not have made it through the surgery. They told the parents, they said, we can do surgery, and if we don't, that neck bone is going to puncture an artery there, so you need to do something, or you see how long he lasts. And they said, go ahead with the surgery. Did a very good job. They screwed the neck together, it healed beautifully, and used Emu oil as a light massage on the neck and over the spinal cord. Fire cup him with that. He loves the fire cup treatment. He said it makes his back feel so good. And put him face down, do a fire cup in the back with Emu oil, and then all these toxicities come out. Got a lot of spasms. I told him, don't worry about the drugs. The drugs don't help the spasms anyway. I said, take the Emu oil. Now he takes Emu oil when he gets spasms, takes Emu oil. I said, take it all the time. Take it every day. Got to get him back on the track of taking that every day. But when he takes the Emu oil, it reduces his spasms. Spasms go away with Emu oil, taken orally and putting it on topically. And so spinal cord injuries, there again, you're talking about circulation. Your spinal cord is your central nervous system. So you need to get the circulation back in there. Circulation is what heals. So anytime you enhance circulation, of course, you're going to make that healing go that much quicker. So by spinal cord injuries, by all means, I've got a couple of paralytics I'm treating that on Emu oil, and they say, I've got feeling. One lady's still in a wheelchair yet, but she said, I got feeling when I had feeling only down here. I got it down to my waist now, down to my buttocks now. And she's taking Emu oil, and she says, I can feel more each treatment comes. I can feel a little bit better. I can feel touch in my body. I can feel pain, which I didn't feel before. It was there, but I couldn't feel it. but now she's getting nerve function back, slowly going down the length of her body, and she had a broken back. And so we use Emu Oil on her quite a bit as well, topically and orally as well. So definitely spinal cord injuries, it's a must.
Richard, we have time for one more question.
One more question. Okay. Is that Earl the Emu there? Oh, I saw your top there. I thought it looked like emu feathers. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Shingles or sciatic nerve pain? Good. Good question. Sciatic nerve, we'll start off with that. Sciatic nerve is, that actually comes from the fact that the body, whenever there's a challenge to the body system, whether it be overuse or whether it be an injury or illness, the body stores the memory of that incident in the linings of the intestine. That's your autonomic nervous system. So if you're driving down the road, a deer jumps out in front of your car, even if you don't hit the deer, you slam on the brakes, you don't hit the deer, you feel a tensing up in your lower belly. That's the body's recording the memory of that stress in the linings of the intestine. The intestine is fed by the same nerve supply that feeds the psoas muscle. It's spelled P-S-O-A-S, psoas, pronounced psoas muscles. There's a psoas major and minor. They run most of the length of the leg. They attach right to their vertebrae, go up into the back. That psoas muscle in a 150-pound person has the capability of contracting with a force of 16,000 foot-pounds of pressure. So 16,000 foot-pounds of pressure if that psoas muscle contracts with full force. And that's what you get the sciatic pain. So we work to, with the acupuncture, we electrically clear the shock wave out of the intestine. And Emu Oil helps with that as well because that helps clear the intestine, helps with the leaky gut syndrome, helps the intestines work better. So anything you do to get the shock wave out of the intestine, Emu Oil, again, helping to conduct the electricity, helping to circulate the blood, definitely an asset in that type of condition. It may not take it away by itself, but it certainly goes a long way in helping. If you did nothing else, I would certainly do Emu Oil topically and orally. And then the other one was shingles? Yeah, shingle is a form of a virus that lives under the skin, and you have to normalize the blood to kill that out. And Emu Oil topically helps reduce the pain in that, but orally too with the gel caps or straight in the mouth. Again, you're enhancing circulation, helping the blood to normalize. When you normalize the blood will stop producing the faulty prototype and clear that virus out of there. It also helps with the minerals. The minerals are alkaline. If it helps circulate the minerals in the body, then indirectly it's going to help raise the pH of the body, and the higher pH will kill out the virus as well. So it's a longer process with shingles. If you don't catch them right away, if you catch them on the early onset, you can get rid of them quickly. But if they've been around for 15, 20 years, some people have had them a long time, it takes a little while longer. But I did have one patient that came in, and we used Emu Oil on the shingles, and they were gone over the weekend. She just got them, and the doctor diagnosed them over the phone, came in just on one treatment, and ran some electricity through the shingles with the needles and put Emu Oil on them. And I called her on Monday and said, I canceled my appointment, they're gone. And I went to the doctor, he said, yeah, what you had was shingles. But they're gone, they were gone just in a weekend like that. But normally they take a lot longer because people don't come in until they've had them a long time and tried everything else first. But topically and orally will definitely help with the shingles. Welcome. Pardon? Yeah, pH is very important. Emu Oil will help indirectly with that because it helps absorb the minerals better. Minerals are generally alkaline in nature, and when you help absorb the minerals better and the body can use the minerals that you're taking, then of course it's going to raise the pH and help balance out. So indirectly it'll help with the pH. So,
Thank you very much, Richard. That was extremely interesting.
Thank you.